Hello everyone. Welcome to another video. This is gonna be a different one. This is not gonna be well structured, mostly scripted, like well edited sort of video. This is just gonna be me talking and you staring at Charlie's face for probably the most of it. The reason why is I wanted to talk about some news that came out of Daredevil Born Again Season 3. You probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll give you context in a minute. But I just needed a place to complain, and I mean, what else are YouTube channels for, right? So before I begin, this will contain spoilers for Born Again Season 3. If you don't want any, you can just skip this video. I'll see you next time. No worries. But if you don't mind spoilers, or probably if you've already seen the spoiler, stick around. Let's talk about this because I'm very curious to know what you think, and I sure have a lot of thoughts. So the news that inspired this video was a couple of set photos of Elodie Young back as Electra Nachos for Born Again Season 3. Which is fine. It's cool. I feel like this video might come off as if I'm complaining about her specifically, which I'm not. I'm not doing that. My problem with her return is less about her returning and more about how that will happen, if that makes sense. Because I've made a video with like a bit of a review of season 2, right? And one thing that I talked about a lot was about how busy it was and how crowded it was for not nearly enough screen time, for not nearly enough episodes. So as a result, a lot of the storylines did not have the time they needed to develop properly, and they felt rushed. They felt sometimes like they had cut out scenes, and most importantly, it hurt the characters. Daredevil, Matt Murdock, the title character for this show in Born Again Season 2, did not get a character arc. That is still insane to me. And I don't think that's improving with season 3. And all of these characters that are returning, it's definitely not helping, right? It would be cool if we had more episodes, if the episodes were longer, then we'd have the time to like go to each one, check in on the characters, have some proper development for them. I don't think that's happening though. I don't think so. Okay, hold on. Let's just talk about this for a second. Season 3. Here's what we have, right? Just off of the top of my head. We have stuff that was already happening. So we have Heather turning into Muse. Like, sure, the groundwork for that happened mostly in season 2, but it's going into season 3 a little bit as well. So we need to get to that. We need to get to whatever Fisk is doing now that he's back. Like, he was exiled, but now he's back, and whatever is going on with that. We have Shayla taking over as mayor for New York after Fisk left. We have the Defenders returning, like, Jessica already came back. We were introduced to Danielle, but now we're also going to have Luke and Danny, who are also confirmed to be back. We have the storyline with Bullseye and Mr. Charles, which I'm guessing is still there, considering he was in set pictures as well. There's even a rumor that he was targeting Danielle, which is interesting. I'm curious to know what's going to come out of that. Now, we also have Elektra returning, somehow, for some reason. I'm sure we are not going to get a reason, by the way. Like, sure, okay, it's cool that she's just back like that. It makes sense. Like, why wouldn't she survive, like, the Midland Circle thing? That's not the problem. The problem is, obviously, we haven't seen her in a minute, right? As the audience. I would love to know what she's been up to. Will we find out? Probably not. Why? Why would we? That's annoying. And, of course, we have Daredevil in prison. We have potentially his trial. Like, we have so much stuff to get to, and I cannot help but think that they're sidelining my boy again. I can't imagine him doing much this season. I'm sure they'll give him something to do while he's in prison, but I don't know. I'm not feeling confident, you know? Like, all of these characters, all of these storylines I was just talking about, he's not going to be there. He's going to be in Rikers, so already he's being left out of his own show. He's not going to be interacting with any of the characters outside of Karen and maybe Luke, based on that one photo in Mike Coulter's Instagram. It's very frustrating. And as a fan of this character, I love Daredevil. You know this. Like, I have a whole channel dedicated to him. Like I don't feel really excited for this show anymore. I mean, I'll still watch it. Uh, even if it's bad, I'll still be there. But it just feels like they forgot what it's supposed to be about, you know? And it just turned into a cameo fest. It turned exactly into what people say the MCU is. And like I usually fight that argument because I think it's over exaggerating a little bit, but not here. Like this is prime example of cameo slop, and we're getting it in Daredevil, which does not feel right, man. Does not feel good at all. Which brings me to my next complaint, which is again the fact that Daredevil is going to be in prison, and for the looks of it, he's going to be in prison for most of the season, which is such a bad move. Again, he's going to be away from all of the action, first of all, but second, I just uh, it feels like you know when the CW used to make those DC shows? Stay with me. So remember when the CW used to do those shows, and remember how they would introduce characters that they wanted to make a show for, and they would introduce them in their already established show. So, like for example, Barry Allen first showed up in Arrow, and then they got the Flash show greenlit. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like they are cramming as much bullshit as they can into Born Again season 3, hoping they'll get greenlit for a Heroes for Hire show or an Elektra show, which I would love, but it should stay separate. Also, like the CW when they did that, they had they had 24 episode seasons. They had time. They had so many episodes to do. They had time to just introduce a random ass character in one of them. We don't have. We have 8 episodes, man. Maybe 9. I don't know if Frank stole one this time, but we have 8 episodes, maybe 9 episodes. We don't have time to do that. We need to get to the damn story we're trying to tell. We need to get to Daredevil because he's in the title of the show. It's his show. Okay. It also we obviously don't know how many episodes they filmed so far. But I think a while back, Dario or Brad or someone they mentioned that they were likely to wrap filming for season 3 in July. It is late June now, so they're close to wrapping at this point. And for the looks of it, Matt's going to be in prison for most of it. We know that, and that's funny, but we know that from Charlie Cox's beard. So he had that beard for a long time now. He shaved recently. I think like earlier this week or last week, I'm not sure. Finally, he had shaved the beard, so there's a chance that he finally got out of prison. But like, they gotta be filming like the later half of the season at this point, right? They're probably like episode 7 or 8. So it takes Matt at least 6 episodes to get out of prison. So he's sidelined in his own show already. He's not interacting with any of the cool characters. He's not interacting with any of the cool storylines. He's just in Rikers doing his own thing, which I hate. That's exactly what happened with Zdarsky's run, and I know that I've complained about that run before. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but still, it feels like such a waste. It feels like they don't care as much about Daredevil as much as they care about other characters, which is fine. Like, hey, look, dude, if you prefer to be writing another character, that's cool, Dario. Go do that. Give Daredevil to someone who actually wants to write Daredevil. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, also, I said I wasn't going to complain too much about Zdarsky's run, but I just want to say one thing real quick, okay? Zdarsky's run was very much influenced by the show, by the 2015 show. Like, regardless of how we feel about either one, it was very much inspired by the show. In my opinion, that's not a good thing because the show is an adaptation of the comics, right? So if you're making an adaptation of the show, you kind of lost the plot, you know what I mean? The thing is, I feel like Born Again is very much obsessed with Zdarsky's run because it fits that vibe. Because it was a run pretty much based on the version of the characters that we know from the show. Now they just continue to introduce more and more of Zdarsky's influence into the show. I don't like that. I just I know a lot of people like that run. It's not for me. I don't like it. I think that it's just doing the same things other writers did and doing it worse. I think that it takes a very warped idea of what the show is and what those characters are like and runs with it. I don't want them to continue down that path. I don't want Elektra as Daredevil. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's my biggest fear with her coming back. I'm cool with her coming back. I'm cool with Bullseye killing her again. Whatever. Like it's dumb that they would just do it for comic accuracy. But sure, dude, do that. Don't make her Daredevil. That is I'm planning to make a video about that soon, but that is the most egregious form of character assassination I have ever seen. That was very disrespectful to her character, in my opinion. And I think that bringing it into an adaptation and making it, further pushing it into the mainstream will be about the worst thing that you could do to a character like Elektra. I feel like this show, like if it starts leaning too much into Zdarsky's run, it's just gonna start eating its own tail. You know what I mean? And that's bad. That's not a good idea. Anyway, this video is all over the place. I do apologize, but I saw those pictures earlier. It's Wednesday as of me recording this. It's the day the Elektra pictures first came out. And I don't know, it made me so sad. Like it made me so frustrated with this show because again, I talked about it in the review video. I want it to be good. It's Daredevil. He's my favorite character ever. I want his show to be good, and I just don't see a world that season 3 is good. There's too much. There's a lot going on. There's a lot. There's a lot. Is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, I think there's no way that it sticks the landing with so many flips that they're doing along the way, so many twists and flips and whatever. It feels kind of like they're throwing everything that they can at the wall, hoping they'll either get a new show greenlit or season 4 greenlit. And I think that's what worries me the most. It feels to me like they know season 4 either isn't happening or has a very low chance of happening. So instead of prioritizing tying the show up with a neat little bow, they're prioritizing throwing everything they can at the wall and hope that something sticks and they get a season 4 or they get another show greenlit or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts. I'm sorry that this video is a mess. I just needed to get it off my chest, and I didn't want to make like a full video with the script and whatever. Like that would take a long time, and I'm working on other stuff now. I'm working on another video for next time. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, next time, I promise I'll have something more interesting, something more structured to talk about. In fact, here's a little bit of a teaser. That's it. That's all the teaser you get. I'll see you then. If you want to see more videos, here's one that's much better than whatever this was, in my opinion. And I'll see you next time. Bye.